Alright, today's video is going to be just going over some algebra review concepts. This video is to help you out with some of the problems I may have assigned you, or just to go back and review some algebra concepts. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about slope. And we have these lines here. This is a similar question that you had, or the same question really, that you had on that first little quiz I gave you. So let's take a look at line A. Okay? As we remember, slope is rise over run. Okay? Let's remember what the rise is. Okay? The rise, as I look at line A, I'm going to draw a dotted line here. Actually, I'll just draw a solid triangle line. The rise is this part of the triangle. Okay? The run is the horizontal part of the triangle. So all we're going to do is we're going to count the rise. So this would be 0 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you just count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I would do is I would say the rise is 4 and the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which would equal 1/2. Okay? As I'm doing these videos, you guys can take time to pause your video or rewind if you want to watch something again. Alright, I'm going to erase that. Alright, next we're going to look at line B. So I'm going to draw a triangle at line B. With my blue line. I'm going to count my rise. There's my run. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My rise is 8. My run is, if I start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys can count the boxes. 8 over 4, if I divide that out, I get 2. Okay? As you can see, 2 is a bigger slope. It is a steeper line than line A. So I think of it as a roller coaster. The steeper the roller coaster, right, the faster you're going to go. So 2 would be the higher number, or I think about that being faster. Okay, now we're going to go to line C. I'm going to draw my line. My rise is over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My rise is 8. Now, when I count, I'm counting this way, which if we go that way on a graph, it's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4, which equals negative 2. Okay? The other way I can think about a negative slope is if I'm thinking about a roller coaster again, if my slope is going, if I'm looking at it left to right, if my slope is going down that way, then I call it, or the roller coaster would be going down. If we looked at it from left to right, we know it's negative. If it's going up, in these two cases, from left to right, then we know it's positive. So those are for the answers for that. I'm going to show you one more way to find slope, because you're going to have this on one of your assignments here, just a review assignment, is I'm going to use coordinates on the plane. So let's take a look at line A. We already know that line A, we already know the slope. I'm just going to show you a different way to find the slope for line A. What we're going to do is we're going to find 2 points on the line. We're going to use this point, and we're going to use this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write these points in. So if I look at my coordinate plane, this is point 4, 2, and this is point 2, 1. I'm going to call this one x2. I'm going to call this one y2. I'm going to call this one x1. I'm going to call this one x2. And you're going to have to use this formula on an equation. I'm going to write the formula in a different color here. So slope is going to equal y2 minus y1, which is the rise, over the run, which is x2 minus x1. Once again, you can also count. Here's my triangle now. You can count the rise, and you can count the run. Sometimes it's easier to do this. So I'm going to plug them into that equation over here. So y2 is 2 minus y1. Sorry, I labeled these wrong. This should be y1 here. Okay, here's y1. So 2 minus 1 over x2 minus x1. So x2 is 4. x1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. And there's my slope of 1/2. When you guys get this problem on the worksheet, it's just going to give you, I'm going to highlight it here, it's just going to give you those two coordinates. And then you plug them into this equation over here, and you find slope. So those are the two different ways to find slope. All right, moving on here. We're going to combine like terms. What I like to do when I combine like terms is I like to underline the terms that are the same. So 4y squared is the same as 2y squared. 5y, since y is different than y squared, I'm going to underline it twice. And then we have a negative 2y. Last but not least, we have a minus 2. I'll put 3 lines under that. So I'm going to look for the one line. And I'm going to put everything together. 4y squared plus 2y squared. Then I'm going to look at the 2 lines. So 5y minus 2y minus my last thing is 2. And then I'm going to join together my like terms. So 4y squared plus 2y squared, that is a 6y squared. I have a 5y minus 2y, gives me a positive 3y. And then there's nothing to go with the 2, and it's a minus 2. And I have my answer. So that is a quick review of combining like terms. We can do other examples in class. This is just one to look at on the video. Next, we're going to talk about the distributive property. Distributive. Okay? Distributive property. What I like to do is draw my line from my 2x to my negative 2x and my 2x to my minus 3. I'm going to zoom in here. For sometimes in the past, what I've done for a minus is I've changed it to a plus and negative. so I don't get my positives and negatives mixed up. So if that's a trick you want to use, go ahead and use it. You don't have to. Okay, but now I'm going to multiply 2x times negative 2x. A positive times a negative is a negative. So negative 4, because 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. X times x is x squared. Now, I have a minus 3 or a plus a negative 3. So 2 times negative 3 is a negative 6 or a minus 6. X times 1 is x. So when I distribute, my final answer to simplify would be negative 4x squared minus 6x. And we're going to practice, you guys are going to practice more on these, but these are just ways to show you, to remind you how to do it. I'm going to do a couple more examples here. Okay, we're going to solve for one variable. Okay, I know there's different ways you guys have done this in the past. I'm just going to do it the way I normally do it. If you have a different way, that's fine. As long as you show your work, I'm okay with it. So I have 3b minus 5 equals 16. We're going to do number 10. Okay? Now, I'm going to try to find b. I want to get 3b alone and on one side by itself. So if I'm subtracting 5 and I want it to make 0, I have to add 5. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. But I have to do it to both sides. I'm going to draw this line here, which I know some of you like to do, so we can add. 3b plus 0 is 3b. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So I write my 3b equals, once again, you can use a calculator for all these. 16 plus 5 is 21. And then if I have 3 times b and I want to get rid of the 3, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so now I get b equals 21 divided by 3 is 7. If this was a quiz or a test and that's the work you showed me, A+, awesome, 100%. All right, let's move on to a different type of problem. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to draw that. All right, zoom in, zoom over, if I can. Okay, so now we're going to do number 13 here. 6x plus 5 equals negative 2x minus 3. So what I have to do is I have to put all the x's on one side and all the numbers. By the way, that doesn't mean hashtag. It originally meant number back in the day. Interesting fact. Okay, so I'm going to put x's on the left side. In this case, numbers on the right side. You can put x's on the right side, numbers on the left side if you want. So I'm going to start with my x's. What do I have to do to get negative 2x to the other side? What I have to do is I have to add 2x to both sides. Move up here. All right. So I add 2x to both sides. Draw my line. Draw my line. 6x plus 2x is 8x plus 5 equals negative 2x plus 2x cancels. All I have left is a minus 3. Ask yourself, am I done with my x's? Yes. There is a famous song, All My Exes Live in Texas. Look it up, old country song. Anyhow, am I done with my x's? Yes, I am. So I have to get 5. Since it's a plus 5, I'm going to minus 5 to get it to the other side. Okay? 8x plus nothing or minus nothing is 8x. 5 and negative 5 cancel. Negative 3 plus negative 5 equals negative 8. I divide both sides by 8. X, that's sloppy, sorry. X will equal -1. So we're often going to see a problem in geometry like this, where I'm going to set two things equal and I have to use algebra to solve. So that type of algebra problem is very important for you guys to remember how to do. Okay, lastly, I'm going to, sorry, I'm making you dizzy here. Lastly, I'm going to show you number 14. I'm just going to get you started on 14. So this combines the last two couple skills we did. If I see parentheses, that means I distribute automatically, because I want it to look like this in order to solve it. So first I do 15 times s. I get 15s. 15 times a minus 3 or a plus -3, whichever you like better. We'll turn that into a minus 45 equals 12s minus 43. And then you can go and solve that one just like you solved number 13. I hope this video